the show, we look at last weekend's highlights, which featured the Manawatu Superstock Champs and, of course, the Manawatu Stockcar Champs, which resulted in history being made. We catch up with referee Ross Thurston and look at some of the technical aspects that he has in order to do his job. We catch up with Gary Parks, the Panther manager. We look at who he's looking at as Panther members for this year. We look at highlights from last season's Superstock Teams Racing Extravaganza, and, of course, we catch up with the season's points for Week 6. Well, the big event last weekend was highlights, which included the Manawatu Superstock Champs and the Manawatu Stockcar Champs, which resulted in history being made in the Manawatu Stockcar Champs.
Adult Mini Stocks Race 1 kicked off with early drama after 187p Eva Johnson came to a stop in turn 3, bringing out the Reds. Once they got going again, 33p John O'Moldy quickly took charge with 94p Jack Bainan and 64p Kevin Penn, running nose to tail in tight traffic. The provisional top 3 for Heat 1 with 33p Moldy. He came home first with 94p Jack Bainan in second and 64p Kevin Penn in third. Race 2 saw 7v Devin Wilson dominate early, controlling the pace while the pack shuffled behind, but as laps ticked away, 35p Luke Harris closed the gap, timing a last lap move perfectly to snatch the lead in dramatic fashion. 33p John O'Moldy held strong in third after an early charge. Provisional results for Heat 2 went the way of the 35p Harris first, 7v Wilson second, and 33p Moldy another top 3 in third. The adult mini stock feature delivered fast and tidy 12-lap run as 35p Luke Harris controlled the race from the green. 33 John O'Moldy tried everything, high line, low line, everything in between, but couldn't find the drive to close the gap, while 7v Devin Wilson settled into a comfortable third after early pressure. Feature results saw 35p Harris take the win from 33p Moldy and 7v Wilson in third. An extra run for the adult mini stocks turned into another showcase for the 35p of Luke Harris, slicing through to the lead within 2 laps and checking out early. 64p Kevin Penn held firm despite pressure, while 69p Steve Martin charged hard from mid-pack to secure third. The fourth additional race saw Harris take another win in the 35p, 64p Kevin Penn in second, and 69p Mann in third. With a good 10 cars out of the field due to the West Coast Champs, race 1 of the youth mini stocks still erupted straight away with early drama as 29p Austin Calder and 181p Brooklyn Waihi tangled before the field even managed to settle. Once racing resumed, 48p Keaton Herco took control through heavy traffic, where Boston Joblin, the 52p, was pushing hard behind. 77p Will Carroll Holland kept it tidy to secure third. Heat 1 results went the way of Herco first in the 48p, 52p Joblin second, and 77p Carroll Holland in third. Race 2 saw the 77p Will Carroll Holland nail the start and build a solid gap, even as the field behind him scattered through heavy traffic. 52p Boston Joblin charged forward yet again, keeping the pressure on, while 271p Blake Mudge held steady in third despite constant battles behind him. Heat 2 results went the way of 77p Carroll Holland, 52p Joblin in second, and 271p Mudge in third. The youth mini stock race 3 was elbows up from the start as 62p Braxton Satherley led early for a majority of the race before heavy contact from behind shuffled the front pack. It was 294p Charlie Newman that muscled his way to the front, but 52p Boston Joblin found clean air late in the piece and swept through to take control. 18p Aidan Waihi kept it tidy in chaos to secure third. Heat 3 results went the way of 52p Joblin, 294p Newman in second, and 18p Aidan Waihi in third. The youth mini stock feature saw 52p Boston Joblin really stamp his authority early, breaking clear and never looking back. 77p Will Carroll Holland kept the pressure on but couldn't close the gap, while 294p Charlie Newman held firm in third despite the heavy lap traffic. In the end, it was 52p Boston Joblin who finished every race on the podium and took the feature win, followed by 77p Carroll Holland in second and 294p Newman in third. The mini sprints were split into 3 groups, of each racing each other once across the 3 qualifying heats before their feature race, and Heat 1 blasted off with 85S Aaron Eulenberg getting the perfect launch and immediately taking command. 3NZ Nathan Jeffries swept the highline early to grab second, while 2NZ Glenn McCutcheon tucked into third as the front group broke away. Behind them, 18p Daniel Nickel and 7S Bronson Pierce carved through the mid-pack, with 54p JJ Williams and 95S Dwayne Hickman charging forward from deep in the grid. As they sliced through lap traffic, no one could reel in the leaders, and the result went the way of the 85S Eulenberg taking the win from 3NZ Jeffries in second and 2NZ McCutcheon in third. Heat 2 saw 82S Cam Hurley control the race from the moment the green dropped, breaking away cleanly as chaos unfolded behind him, with Jeffries, Ogle and Jaden Clark tangling early. 97p Jordan McLeod settled into second before 5S Regan Ogle, off a previous dominant weekend, stormed around the outside to grab the spot and begin chasing the leader. Further back, Aaron Eulenberg, Seth Sultan Robertson and Dylan Smith battled fiercely inside the top 10, but out in front, it was all Hurley, taking a composed win ahead of the 5S of Ogle. Third place, 97p, Jordan McLeod. Heat 3 turned chaotic early when the 5S of Regan Ogle rode over the right rear of 53v Dylan Smith and fired himself hard into the turn 3 wall, triggering a full restart. Once racing resumed, the drama continued as rookie 14p Jaden Clark was launched into a heavy rollover down in turn 3. Out in front, 95S Dwayne Hickman led strongly until mechanical issues saw him slow right under the white flag, allowing 18p Daniel Nicol to pounce and take over. Heat 3 results went the way of the 18p Daniel Nicol first, 53v Dylan Smith second, and 2NZ Glenn McCutcheon in third. The feature race for round 1 of the Mini Sprint Oval Superstars Series delivered everything you'd expect from a championship main event. The front row of 18p Nicol and 3NZ Jeffries got the crowd fired up early, but drama stuck immediately as 97p Jordan McLeod was spat out in turn 1, forcing a messy yellow and a reshuffle that dropped Nicol back for a jump start ruling. That handed 82S Cam Hurley a rare front row gift, and he made the most of it, leading early while Jeffries and Nicol went to work behind him. Once they hit their rhythm, Nichols was relentless. The 18p wound up the top line, sweeping past Jeffries, and then Hurley to reclaim the lead with a bold drive around turns 3 and 4. From there, he checked out, even as heavy lap traffic and late pressure from Jeffries tightened things up in the closing laps. Behind him, the 2NZ of Glenn McCutcheon and 7S Bronson Pearce and the 95S Dwayne Hickman traded sliders and crossovers with an intense fight for the minors. But out in front, nothing was stopping Nicol. He wins the 15-lap feature, with 3NZ of Jeffries coming in second. 2NZ of McCutcheon climbed his way into third, 7S of Pearce fourth, 82S Hurley fifth, and 95S Hickman rounding out the top 6. The Manawatu Superstock title was on the line, and Heat 1 launched into action with 96G Brad McGee winning the drag into turn 1, while 971C Jaden Ward wasted no time sweeping around the outside to join the leaders. Behind them, elbows were out early as 52p Scott Joblin charged forward, Hamish Booker in the 82S holding strong, and 38v Zane Dykstra was carving his way through into the top group. 94p William Humphries was left stranded on the infield in his new car, and a massive wheel stand from Justin Roberts in the 85p as well. As racing resumed after a red light for some debris, Jaden Ward came alive. The 971C found huge drive through the mid-pack, closing McGee's lead lap by lap before powering past to take control of the race. Further back, Booker, Joblin, Dykstra, and now the 97p of Byron Rowlands battled fiercely as lap traffic tightened everything up late in the race. But Ward was unstoppable, slicing through back markers and controlling the pace of the flag. The top 6 from Heat 1 saw 971C take the win for 96G Brad McGee, 38v Zane Dykstra, 82S Hamish Booker, 52p Scott Joblin, and 97p Byron Rowlands in 6th. Heat 2 exploded into life as 669p Brendan Tide launched out of grid 3, grabbing the gap and leading the field into turn 1. Behind him, chaos struck early when 97p Byron Rowlands and 96G Brad McGee came together, with McGee later retiring after suffering a left rear flat. The elbows were out through the pack as drivers battled for clean lines and track position. Out in front, Ty settled into a strong rhythm, but 126G Asher Rees charged his way into second, closing the gap lap by lap. 41p Scott Williams, 156p Trent James, and 26v Caleb Mooney traded spots in a tight midfield scrap, all while 971C Jaden Ward carved forward from deep on the grid, picking off cars with clinical precision. But no one could stop the 669p Ty, controlled the race from start to finish, claiming a commanding Heat win. The top 6 results from Heat 2 saw 669p Brendan Ty in first, 126G Asher Rees second, 41p Scott Williams third, 156p Trent James fourth, 26v Caleb Mooney fifth, and 10G Peter Rees home in 6th. Heat 3 of the Manawatu Superstock Champs had everything riding on it as 156p Trent James launched off pole and immediately stamped his authority on the race. 26v Caleb Mooney kept him honest early, while behind them the chaos kicked off. 971C Jaden Ward was squeezed by Rebecca Barr. 669p Brendan Ty pushed forward before copping a shot from Ward, and 24p Stu Sowry continued to stir the pot as the intensity climbed, spinning Ward whilst he was in the box seat for the title. The points picture shuffled lap by lap. 126G Asher Rees lost ground after contact. 79p Kyle Rowe muscled into the top 3, and 38v Zane Dykstra powered his way into the top 5. A late twist came when 96G Brad McGee collected the race leader, briefly opening the door for 52p Scott Joblin, who then spun himself trying to steal the win. But it was 156p Trent James who survived the drama and took the Heat 3 checkered flag. From 26p Caleb Mooney, 79p Kyle Rowe, 126G Asher Rees in 4th, 38p Dykstra in 5th, 669p Brendan Ty in 6th. And with the points tallied, your 2025-26 season Manawatu Superstock champion is 669p Brendan Ty. Equal on points for 2nd and 3rd are 26v Caleb Mooney and 41p Scott Williams, meaning those two will head to a 4-lap runoff to decide the podium positions. And in the runoff for 2nd and 3rd for the Manawatu Superstock champs, it lit up up as 26p Kayla Mooney got the jump off the start and immediately opened a gap on 41p Scott Williams. Williams tried to settle and reel him back in, but Mooney controlled every lap of the 4-lap dash. 26v Kayla Mooney wins the runoff to claim second overall, and 41p Scott Williams finishing third on the podium. With time on our side, the Superstocks were given a one-race $500 winner-take-all dash for cash, and it fired to life with 126G Asher Rees grabbing the early jump over 156p Trent James, or 79p's Kyle Rose searched for the inside line, and 971C Jaden Ward charged from deep in the pack. Ward found huge drive up top, sweeping around both Rowe and James in one lap before setting off after Rees in a throwback to their old Glen Eagles days. The pressure stayed on as Ward closed the gap lap after lap, but Rees kept the car tight and composed, and out of the final corner, Ward wasn't close enough. 126G Asher Rees holds on to win the dash for cash, with 971 Jaden Ward a very close second. It was double the Manawatu titles on the line, with the stock cars getting their championship into life as well. In the first heat saw defending champion 172p Daniel Burmeister make the perfect launch, taking control of the race before the field had even settled into formation. 668p Paul Gaskin slotted into second. They glued to the leader's back bumper as the championship intensity took hold immediately. Behind them, the elbows came out fast. 134p Rebecca Barr muscled her way up the order. 11G being driven by Ricky Lee Cowrie held strong against a charging midfield, and 62p Brock Bommans swept around the outside with impressive early pace from deep in the field. The opening lap saw three wide chaos as drivers fought to position themselves strongly for the championship points battle. 135p Jaden Hall kept himself well in the top pack, working traffic cleanly while Burmeister and Gaskin controlled the front of the race. As the laps wound down, Burmeister managed traffic perfectly, never giving Gaskin an opening, and drove a composed race right to the line. First heat saw the defending champion 172p Daniel Burmeister take the win from 668p Paul Gaskin in second, 135p Jaden Hall in third, 134p Rebecca Barr in fourth, 11G Ricky Lee Cowrie in fifth, and 62p Brock Bommans in sixth. Heat 2 of the Manawatu Stockcar Champs erupted straight off the line as 134p Rebecca Barr launched from pole and immediately put the field under pressure. The opening corner turned chaotic. A massive pile-up saw 669p Brendan Tye, 11p Brendan Rees, 135p Jaden Hall, and 668 Paul Gaskin, all caught in a freight train shunt that jammed cars bumper to bumper and left Hall spectacularly mounted on top of Gaskin. Reds flew instantly, the infield filled with broken contenders from Heat 1. Once racing finally resumed, Barr controlled the restart beautifully, with 16p Wayne Burko chasing hard in the 11G Ricky Lee Cowrie, sitting solidly in the top group. Further back, 48p Josh Mulcahy charged through traffic, 82p Royderman Stanley muscled his way inside the top 5 as drivers traded hits, blocks and bold moves through heavy traffic. Heat 1 winner 172p Daniel Burmeister fought his way back after early trouble, climbing steadily as the laps wound down, but Barr never flinched up front, clean lines, no mistakes, and full control of the flag. In Heat 2 saw 134p Rebecca Barr take the win from 16p Wayne Burko in second, 48p Josh Mulcahy third, 11G Ricky Lee Cowrie fourth, 82p Royderman Stanley fifth, and 172p Daniel Burmeister in sixth. Heat 3 rolled out with the title wide open and all the pressure on points leader 134p Rebecca Barr holding a narrow advantage over defending champion 172p Daniel Burmeister and 11G Ricky Lee Cowrie. The grid stacked up with big movers deep in the pack, and right from the green the elbows came up as 48p Josh Mulcahy burst into the early lead with 62p Brock Bommans and 9p Zion McNabb right behind him. Barely a lap in and the race explodes into chaos. 77p Curtis Tenetti turned and collected, and moments later the entire grandstand side erupted with one of the wildest moments of the night. A spectacular three-car synchronised rollover saw 226p Liam Metcalf, 133p Tyler Walker and 11p Brendan Rees all tipped over in completely separate incidents, but landing on their sides almost simultaneously, bringing out an extended red and resetting the field. On the restart, Bommans and Mulcahy resumed their fight at the front while championship contenders went to work in traffic. Burmeister tried to climb back after being held up early by Brendan Tye, while Barr and Cowrie navigated chaos, picking off positions as the laps ticked down. Heavy blocking and big hits in the midfield saw Verco and Watson in the wall, and 31p Jared Davis tangled with multiple cars as the pressure intensified. Up front, 62p Brock Bommans remained composed, fending off late race pressure to take the Heat 3 victory, with 48p Josh Mulcahy second and 9p Zion McNabb home in third. Further back, crucial points were banking up as Barr and Cowrie worked their way through one of the most frantic final heats this championship has seen. The points were tallied after the third heat and history was made. 134p Rebecca Barr, not only the first female driver on the podium, but she is the 2025-2026 Manawatu Stockcar Champion, the first female ever to win the title since the championship began in 1993. 11G Ricky Lee Cowrie finishes a brilliant second overall, securing a historic female 1-2, and tied third on points saw 82p Royden Winstanley and 172p the defending champion head to a runoff to decide the final spot on the podium. The runoff for third in the Manawatu Stockcar Championship saw 82p Royden Winstanley take the inside and 172p Burmeister off the outside. Burmeister read the start perfectly, avoiding Royden's early shove and breaking clear into an open track. Winstanley surged high, but Burmeister stayed tight and composed, extending the gap across the 4-lap dash, and at the flag is the 172p Burmeister, who wins the runoff, secures third overall, and remarkably his sixth podium at the Manawatu title in 6 consecutive seasons.
Most sports have referees, and Speedway is absolutely no exception. Ross Thurston is the senior referee here at the Palmerston North Speedway at the Robertson Prestige International Speedway. Ross, when I say referee, do you have many rules, or is there a short list, or does the list get longer every year?
Talking Superstocks, there are plenty of rules, so it isn't just go out there and it's a free-for-all. There's obviously the pole line rules. There's in teams racing, it's cars that can be hit that are stationary, and normal racing rules, they can't be hit stationary, whether it's in the flow of the traffic or not in the flow of the traffic, cutting the corner, passing over the pole line. There's lots and lots of rules.
As far as the rules are concerned, do they change regularly, or once they're kind of set, everybody knows them and there's really no change?
No, every 2 years there's the voting process by the competitors and clubs at the annual Speedway New Zealand AGM. There's could be clubs put a application to change a rule, and the clubs vote on it, and if it's passed, well, then we have a rule change. Sometimes there is a rule change, but most of the time on teams racing, for instance, there hasn't been a lot of rule changes for a few years. After last year, where there was a very difficult night on the finals night, and I implicated some rule changes through our club here in Palmerston, and those rules got changed at the AGM. So a couple of incidents where we had to disqualify Jordan Deere at turn 4 here. If he did the same instance now, that would be okay, because we changed the rule.
Yes.
And it was another rule there which I thought was quite silly, which was the driver has to, if he exits the track, he has to return on the same corner. And sometimes when you're at the end of the grandstand straight, for instance, and you rejoin the track 10 metres past in turn 3, you have to disqualify that driver, which was, to me, was totally unfair. So now, if a competitor leaves the track in the grandstand straight, he can return on the next corner. So he doesn't have to return in the grandstand straight.
So it makes more sense that way. There are technical aids now that you have that you wouldn't have had a few years ago.
Oh yeah, I mean, like luckily at Palmerston North here, we've got 9 cameras around this facility, which a lot of the public wouldn't even know that they exist. They're a stationary camera, and they're recording 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year. So we have the footage of every centimetre of this track. So hey, like we're human, we don't always see everything, and just like a rugby ref, he's reffing in the middle of the oval here. He's standing a metre away, and he misses stuff. We could be 150, 200 metres away, and we see it or we miss stuff. That's just the like of a human being. But we now have the computer aid of the camera to fall back on.
So how does it work?
Well, the first thing that we do is we have a 24-hour clock running. I see something at turn 3. I'm going, ooh, that doesn't look quite right. I'll write that time down, because we're on the entry of turn 1, so at turn 3 is the furthest point from the referee's box, is generally the point of an infringement or a foul. So I'll write that time down, and if I get a red light in, say, a stock car or a super stock race, I'll duck into the camera room, which is right next door, and I've got my reference point, and I'll have that footage within 15 seconds.
And you'll be able to look at it and make a decision.
And if it was a really bad foul in a team's race, we have the ability to, obviously we've stopped for a red for whatever reason, is to take that guy off.
Well, the team's champ's up that far away, and the whole night, except for the sport classes, for example, the whole night is teams racing for both nights, actually. So you've pretty much got a set of rules that you're going to apply for both nights. Difficulties, you've done a few teams champs now. Any particular difficulties with that particular meeting?
It's full on, like it doesn't matter if it's night 1 or night 2. It can go pear-shaped pretty quickly. You just got to be consistent. And if you've ruled on day 1, this is how you see it. And as long as you're consistent with that ruling right till the end of the meeting, that's how you rule. So everybody knows if I infringe, that is the penalty I'm going to get. Well, to contrary belief, we actually don't like giving penalties out. We like to see the
meeting run smoothly. You'd rather not see anybody.
Yeah.
Well, Ross, thank you for your time. We're really interested to look at the technical aspects and the aids that you guys have. Hopefully, closer to Teams Champs, you may have an opportunity to get together and look seriously at the rules so people understand that there are rules in teams, what you can, what you can't do. And I think it makes it more enjoyable for everybody. If suddenly we in the commentary hard have to say, 44 has been excluded from the race for something, people look at one another and says, what? At least if they know why, and they say, well, that's the rules. You should know the rules. That's fair enough.
Bit like watching the rugby game. You go back to that again, and you look at the ref, and the ref blows his whistle, and the scrum collapsed and whatever. And it's like he penalises one team, and then the props get up and they look at the ref and go, "What are you talking about?" And he's a metre away.
He's so close to it.
Like, as I say, we're 100 to 200 metres away,
and things are moving pretty quickly. Ross Thurston, he's the senior referee here at Palmerston North at the Robertson Prestige International Speedway. I hope you learned a little bit tonight, because every time we talk to Ross, we learn something new. And he's the man that waves the stick or doesn't wave the stick, as the case may be. So we look forward to catching up with Ross a bit closer to the teams champs and maybe refreshing what we know about the rules for teams racing, because they are different from individual racing. Superstock Teams Racing returns to the Robertson Prestige International Speedway on the weekend. It's a bit of a hit out for most of the teams, or some of the teams that are going to be here anyway, looking ahead for the NZs in February. Panther manager is Gary Parks. Parksy, is it a bit of a hit out for some of the team? Is it an important event?
It should be a bit more important than it is. It's more a development thing. Let a few of these young guys, the teams have ended up mixed up, so we've got 2 Panthers in the Mustangs team.
Wow. To
actually give the newcomers in the Mustangs team that opportunity to learn. And I guess it's not my decision, but I would have had a good team out there, but really we've only got a B team ourselves to do the hit out, but supposedly the other teams that are coming are going to be doing the same thing.
So let's look at the Panthers as they stand at the moment. Of course, it could change by the night, but how do they stand at the moment?
Well, at the moment, we've got Scott Joblin's going to captain it. Trent James is in there. We've then got Rebecca Barr coming in there. Kyle Rowe is the new boy in there. And Bryn Liddell is going to fill in because William Humphries has pulled out.
Let's look at the Mustangs, what you know about the Mustangs. Who have you given to the Mustangs?
So Brendan Tye and Scott Williams have both gone to the Mustangs. And, they're right on form. Scott was first night out. Well, both of them were basically first night out last week, and both got on the podium for Manawatu Champs. In that other Mustangs team, as far as I know, will be the boy Rollins.
The Dutch guys are going to be probably
using well, I would think that car won't be available come February either, but he's very keen to do it, and he's a very good peddler. Matt Demanza, who was going very well the week before, a couple of weeks ago, was flying, you know.
Is the Panther team that we're going to see on the weekend, do you have to change your plans to what you would have had?
Oh, a little bit, because I mean, tactics-wise, I mean, we've got a team of 4 people there, and not one of them's a blocker. Not one of them's ever blocked before in their life. So we're going into a team racing meeting without a block car as such.
So that is an advantage. Someone's going to have to go into a block role, and they're going to know surely what to do. You don't get to be in a Panther without knowing what a block roll is. But where's Mr. Myers when you want him?
I think Jack's just
a bit early. He's busy.
Early in the sea. I think he's got work commitments at the moment that are up until Christmas. I don't think we'll see him. I mean, I haven't even seen him at the track. He's just. I think he's just too busy. It's about what it is, and that's what it is. We've just got to accept that and move on. He'll be there for February, and that's when it will matter. I mean, there's a lot of mana in having that black body on, and I'm disappointed that we haven't got a good team, but I can see merit in the fact that, you know, there's these guys have got to learn, and unless we get guys learning, they're not going to learn. We don't want to see people out there again. I mean, that's how people can get hurt, being out there without enough experience. So it's a chance to get experience. So it does merit.
What, in an ideal world, in an ideal draw, would you like to see?
Well, in this situation, a learning thing, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter at all, and it never does, because you've got to beat them all. To win, you've got to beat them all. It really wouldn't faze me either way who we got, to be honest. I mean, supposedly Gisborne is bringing an 8-car team as a development, so that supposedly they will not be running. All their guys will be here, but they will be running their development team with a couple of experienced guys, the same sort of thing that we're doing. I mean, I saw some things last year that our own team did that we talked about, and you know, this getting taken out in turn 1 should not happen. No. They should be smarter than that. And that's a chance to focus on those sort of things with these guys and get them thinking the right way right from the beginning.
Is it only track time that's going to fix that?
I mean, the big problem these days is that, I mean, in my old days, and I don't like referring back to that, because all these young guys get a howly bag because they don't know who I am from the old days, but we were teams racing all the time. And every meeting here, you were running
either Wanganui or Stratford or Hawke's Bay or Wellington or whatever. Yeah, sure.
And when you were running, if you weren't in it, you took out a Wanganui car to make sure they didn't take the prize money away.
Yeah, that's right.
They now don't seem to have that. That is the problem that I see. They just don't have that determination for the Panthers to be the best team in the country.
And it was.
And it was.
Let's hope at least after the weekend there's been a benefit.
Yes.
And there's been a learning. Parksy, thanks for your time, mate, and all the very best for the weekend.
All good. Thank you very much.
Gary Parks, the manager of the Palmerston North Panthers. What's going to happen on Saturday night? Who's going to be on the podium? We've just got to wait and find out. Let's catch up with the highlights from last season's Superstock Teams Racing Extravaganza.
James Clark gets the jump there, the 29G. He's got Jordan there right in behind in the 581. David Lowe is falling out there in the 722. Jordan there still trying to get by James Clark. Brody James as well, the 87G in chase. Here we go, what's Jordan going to do? He's got Clark up the wall. That slide was a door for David Lowe. Catches Sam Hughes at pace. The 77 of a ton. Palmerston into the wall. Oh, he spun. Clark up, couldn't quite tip him over though. David Lowe gets spun up the race leader as Palmerston puts James Clark into the wall. Here comes Brody James, the 87G, your new race leader. 87G, Brody James to the lead. Now David Lowe fires up. In there now, what can he do? Can he pick up the 87G? Oh, he's got to get through James Clark as well. Brody James gets held up, he's spun up. And David Lowe back to the lead once again. It's swinging every which way here. White flag, one to go for David Lowe. What a team race this is turning out to be. And James Clark's got enough in the line. Lowe slows it up enough. And I think he's got enough. Yes, he does, because David Lowe's going to come through to the line, take the win, and a Mustang 1-2 here. And the green does drop, and Scott Williams gets the go ahead. It's on the brakes for Loveridge. He's held the line for a wee bit. Jack Myers gets spun there. So Williams leads it. Brendan Tyre, good manoeuvre there on Gallup. And he'll go to work in a moment here if he can. I was going to say on Ashton, but Gallup having spun and covered. Tyron O'Brien also goes through. Now Scott Williams, the race leader, gets by Brent Loveridge. Carries a lot of pace through as well. Brendan Tyre here trying to manoeuvre with Brent Loveridge to allow a couple of his Panther teammates through. Watch Jack Myers. Oh, look at the speed from Myers straight up the inside of Loveridge and Gallup. Trent James goes in on Scott Gallup. Gallup just looked down for a wee moment there. Took his eye off the ball. Is Brendan Tyre still in that block row? He's got Loveridge behind. He needs to pick up Ashton. Lets Ashton and O'Brien through. But Scott Williams managed to get by. One to go. For Scott Williams, he's got a clear track except for Panthers teammates around him. And Scott Williams will pick up the win. The Panthers take the Hundy over the Hawkeyes. With the green. Oh, look at that. Both front rows on the start. Riddick's lining it up. Palmerston's just slowly getting the push. And finally, David Lowe's gone. Ethan Levine decides I'm taking up the running role as well. David Lowe off and gone. He's going to give Parker the twack. Oh, he beats him with a bit of pace. Gets stuck on the outside, now to the inside. Pushes his way through. Riddick's in second over Rebecca Barr, the 34. Ethan Levine and David Lowe. He's put himself in the wall there with Tim Parker. Zane Riddick goes to the lead. Rebecca Barr in second. Ethan Levine in third. Daniel Palmerston's taking up a bit of a running roll here. There's David Lowe. He's got Riddick. We almost had him lined up to the wall. He puts him to the wall. Well, one up the wall. That's over as well. If David Lowe can get through, Tim Parker's on his lid. Tim Parker tips over on the start-finish line. Levine with pace on Deere. Can he get by him though? Rebecca Barr and Daniel Palmerston now trying to get by Kane McDonald. Oh, David Lowe in the wrong place. Just picks it up in time to let Palmerston through. Ethan Levine can't quite get by. Jordan Deere, and here comes Palmerston up the inside to take the lead. And Rebecca, oh, she pushes Levine through. Shane Dykstra and David Lowe still going at it down the start finish. Oh, sorry. I say Riddick, but it's going to be Palmerston to take the win. Get the green. And straight away, Mike McCarthy and Brody James tussle out. So that Tyler James had a go at Scott Williams. And Brody James is into the lead. Sean Gooch. His first season in Superstocks, and he's already put his hand up for teams racing. Jack Myers got one picked up. There's one, a huge shot there on the race leader. Brody James in the wall, and we've got a wheel off as well. Pole line. McCarthy gives him a big shunt. Oh, McCarthy's going to fly Gooch in. Williams with too much pace. Catches up to the 87G. Brody James has gone into a block roll. Scott Williams gets pushed to the infield. Scott Williams, William Humphreys running 1-2 on the lead lap. and Tyler James in third. The 89G's in third, also on the lead lap. William Humphries has picked up Travis Shawgood, and he's just nailed into the side of one of the other Gisborne cars. Scott Williams with pace around the outside of the Gisborne car. He attacks him, he spins him up. The 89G though, Tyler James is going to come and get the white flag. One to run. William Humphries is still in second on that lead lap. Tyler James, I think, is going to do enough. Who's lying in wait? Anyone going to have a swing at him? No one's going to have a swing, and Tyler James takes the win. We have the green. Burmans is on the brakes. James gets away. Deere gets spun there. Jack Myers is going to control this one here for a bit because Rebecca Barr can't get by, and neither can Jordan Deere. Now someone makes a move. Jacko's got two Mustangs held up. Oh, Rebecca Barr puts Jordan Deere in the wall. Burmester comes through. Jacko's still technically second in the race. Well, they can't get by Jack Myers or Brendan Tide. Now someone has. Trent James has gone through the clock to get another lap. Humphries has pegs to the wall. Now Deere comes up on Brendan Tide. No one's worried about, he beats him with big pace around the outside of Tide, and Burmester as well. Jack Myers, a big shot on David Lowe. Lowe gets off. Myers covers and Trent James goes through. Trent James is going to go up another lap. He does. Trent James goes and laps Jordan Deere. Now he's got Burmester around and spins him up. Burmester battling away with William Humphries. Can't fire it in time to get to Trent James. David Lowe pushed to the infield. White flag, one to go. Oh, Jordan Deere, has he picked him? Jordan Deere, oh, Trent James just drives over Jordan Deere. White flag, one to go for Trent James and the Panthers. This is no friendly teams race tonight. Humphries in second, the Panthers running 1-2, but it's Trent James at the line, and he gets it. Trent James picks up the win, spins it up in front of Burmester for good measure.
Well, time to catch up with the season's points chase at the Robertson Prestige International Speedway as we check in on week 6 of the Travel Manager Season's Points Chase. Well, last weekend only 2 classes were running for points, the adult mini stocks and the youth mini stocks. So all of this week's movement comes from those divisions. In the adult mini stock, sitting on top is 35p Luke Harris on 55 points. In second, 33 John O'Moldy on 47 points. And 94p Jack Bangan continues to hold third place on 32 points. Over in the youth mini stocks division, 294p Charlie Newman sits first on 73 points. Boston Joblin sits second on 67 points, and 77p Will Carroll Holland on 63 points in third place. That's your week 6 update in the Travel Manager Season's Points Chase. We'll be back next week to see which classes return to points racing and who keeps climbing the leaderboard as the season continues. Until then, keep it fast, fair and right on the clay.